Here at North Wilkes Middle School in my STEM classes, my job is to get these kids introduced to every CTE class that they will have the opportunity to take in high school, so that when they get there, they can start as a freshman hitting the ground running, so that they can one day get those jobs that we have locally. In this class, we do a lot of hands-on work. And those advanced manufacturing concepts that they get in those are being able to take something that they've never seen before and learn how to manipulate it. One of the largest things that we do is with our robotics program. Being able to code robots, being able to take and put them together and make something that visibly works. Things like being able to create an arm that's able to lift and grab things is just like something you would see in a manufacturing plant today. In this class, we get to do a lot of 3D printing, and kids are able to get their hands on and create things themselves. And that shows us that even at this level, we can do that manufacturing. But then once we know how to do that, we can take those skills that we learned in class and upgrade them with these better equipment that the industry has, and we can make tons of these things all at one time. We do a lot with electricity and circuit boards and things like that too. And having that hands-on, being able to plug a battery into a breadboard and then plug in the wire to an LED and watch it light up. And it just gets them super excited to be in that field. And it's a field that we need to send those kids into, because a lot of times those fields get left in the dust when we need that trade industry. We need those kids going into that advanced manufacturing so that they can make these things our future, because it's never going to end. It's going to be something that's constantly changing and constantly upgrading.
The technology classes here focus mainly on the design method and problem solving. Students, I think a big thing they learn from it is to have confidence in their ideas. As they design projects and test them, they find that they really can create something from nothing, because a lot of times we're using recyclable materials. Also, it puts them in a mindset of continuous improvement. All these things I think really play well into any type of manufacturing setting. Also careers such as electrical careers, HVAC, plumbing, those type jobs, I think they could go into in those careers, people are kind of out on their own. They're having to design systems and troubleshoot problems, and I think the course really plays well into those. So we have kind of 3 different levels here. The 6th graders, they focus on some basics maybe of electricity. They learn to use multimeters to measure. They focus on learning some technical drawing skills and problem solving. 7th grade, we focus on designing an experiment and figuring out how to make a process work. And so I think that plays a lot into manufacturing. They also get more into using computer-aided drafting and 3D printing, as well as some electronics, building some simple circuits and devices. 8th grade, they really focus a lot on their craftsmanship. Their projects start to really matter, what they look like and how they operate. The 8th grade also has projects that they build which teach them about process flow. They have to look at what we're building, they have to break it down into its parts and come up with a finished product. And as I mentioned before, the robotics, they get into a challenge where they have to build a robot that can complete a task, and that includes wiring the robot and controlling it. And so all of these things I think play together, along with that need to continuously improve that the course instills in students to really prepare them. And I think a lot of what we're doing, we're leading into the high school, where they will get more in depth with those robotics and other curriculum things that prepare them for the workplace.
The courses that I teach here at Wilkes Central High School are Robotics 1, Robotics 2, Technology Engineering Design, and Engineering Design. Those courses build on each other, and they align with the advanced manufacturing curriculums and objectives, because we do a lot of production, automation, 3D printing, and coding and programming with robotics. So some of the main objectives of those courses: first, in robotics, we'll start with our robotics build, go on to the programming and coding sequences, and then once students are able to successfully complete those, they will go to competition where they're able to exhibit those skills. In the technology classes, we go through all of the background history of technology, the 5 different fields of engineering, as well as many design objectives that allow them the opportunity to connect with local businesses and industries such as GE Aviation in West Jefferson, and then Lowe's, Tyson, and other local companies and businesses that they may have the opportunity to hopefully intern with or have some type of apprenticeship with in the future after gaining experiences from our classes. Our students get to build their own robots, they get to work with drones, they get to create their own robotics competitions and tracks with those robots. They also get to build bridges, we do some house design, we build different structures, and those go along with those concepts because students are given the opportunity to work with the machinery that we have, as well as those hands-on activities to put together their own products that they can see in real life in order to carry those skills on to future employment if they're interested in engineering or automation or robotics or 3D printing fields in the advanced manufacturing sector. So they have many opportunities here at Wilkes Central to be able to complete those types of activities and tasks to prepare them for their future employment.
Classes that I teach are Animal Science 1 and 2, Ag Mechanics 1 and 2, and Horticulture 1 and 2. In those classes, Animal Science, we really touch on the basics of animal science. It all starts with FFA, leadership opportunities, and then we move on into careers that students are able to potentially pursue later on after further education. Then we move on into animal breeds and terminology, and we cover animal husbandry and livestock care. The big thing about animal science is it's not just farming, it's not just being a vet. That moves all the way into feeds, technician positions, at companies such as Tyson or Wayne Farms. That does not require a lot of further education, but that still allows them to be able to go out and get a very well-paying job doing something that they enjoy. In animal science, advanced manufacturing is prevalent. Things such as feed production, poultry farming, dairy farming. There's a number of things that relate to advanced manufacturing. And then in Ag Mechanics, we cover a lot of the basics of carpentry, welding, electrical, plumbing, construction. All of those all tie together. So the good thing about Ag Mechanics is it covers a lot of trade skills. And trade skills is something that our world still needs and that students can make a lot of money at later on in life if that's something that interests them. Advanced manufacturing and Ag Mechanics, it allows students to see how machines do multiple things at a time. Fence post, for example. Machines make the fence post instead of somebody having to do it one at a time. All the classes are hands-on, animal science, Ag Mechanics, and horticulture. It allows students to see how things are done more in the real world now, how times are changing, and how more advanced this stuff is now.
I teach Construction Core, Carpentry 1, and Carpentry 2, and Advanced Studies also. In our courses, we try to prepare students to work with contractors here locally and be carpenters and hopefully general contractors in the future if they decide to go that route. We stress safety in our shop. We want students to work safe and keep all their fingers and hands. Advanced manufacturing in carpentry and construction would probably relate to the materials that are being produced to build houses and do the construction industry. Weyerhaeuser, for instance, they make OSB products, and those are used in many parts of construction on a house. There are plywoods, and there are also other common building materials, 2x4s and stuff like that. The advanced manufacturing, they're constantly coming up with new ways and new ideas of how to produce these materials. My students actually use the materials that are produced by these manufacturing businesses, and they use them to learn the basics of building houses. They learn how to study in walls, cover them with sheathing, basically all the beginning steps of building a house. So that's how we use our products.
I teach Adobe Visual Design, and we cover Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign. Now in Photoshop, we learn how to edit raster images, and those raster images are comprised of individual pixels. So the kids can go in and expand those pictures, but not too far before they start seeing how pixelated those pictures are. In Adobe Illustrator, the kids will go in and create vector graphics. And with the vector graphics, those are the ones where the images are created with mathematical formulas. So we're talking about curved lines, lines in general. In Adobe InDesign, students will design layouts similar to those seen in newspapers or magazines. And the students can take what they've created in Photoshop or Illustrator and pull those into InDesign. As far as jobs go, kids can major in graphic design, social media manager, and freelance designer is also one of those. The capstone project for Adobe Illustrator is a great example of teamwork, problem solving, troubleshooting, and design thinking concepts also shared with advanced manufacturing. For example, I've had students design t-shirt graphics, prom invitations, and we also entered a competition for the Wilkes County CTE logo, which one of my students won. Throughout this course, students are able to work with clients, the client being myself or another teacher on campus. So they have to go in and make changes according to what that feedback is. And I think that challenges them. One of the benefits of Adobe Visual Design, things that they're creating in my class can be used in their portfolio. And this is a portfolio that they can continue to add to, and as they graduate, their post-secondary plans, depending on what those are, they carry that with them and they can continue to add to it to kind of showcase what they're capable of doing in those 3 applications.
So for Foods 1, we talk about nutrition. We go through kitchen safety, food safety, recipe basics such as measuring, equipment, preparation terms. We do cover some food preparation basics with fruits and vegetables, dairy, proteins, grains, and yeast breads. We also cover etiquette and table setting, and we wrap it all up in teaching students how to menu plan. For Foods 2, we cover food safety, and in that particular unit, we focus on getting students certified in ServSafe. We also cover nutrition and go more in depth with talking about sports nutrition, nutrition in the life cycle, and other concepts. We cover local, regional, and global foods, and there's an entrepreneurship component to teach students the concepts if they choose to run their own business. Some of the hands-on activities include labs, and those labs complement our learning objectives. So if we were doing a lab on measuring, students would work together as a team and they would practice that skill. Some of the local regional jobs include restaurants, child care centers, adult care facilities, hospitals, workplace canteens, grocery stores, marketing, advertising, as well as food inspection, product testing and development. There are many opportunities in Wilkes for students to be employed. We support advanced manufacturing concepts by teaching industry standards within our own field. We teach students to follow procedures, and we do a lot of teamwork activities, especially during lab and with projects. And we focus on communication and using that positively so students will be successful.
The primary objective of our health science courses is to assist students to choose their career pathway and to find what's right for them. And we do that by exposing them to a variety of healthcare careers. We educate them on what the actual requirements are so they can be prepared. We also spend a lot of time learning technical skills and soft skills that they need. And the senior level students actually learn the technical skills to gain their CNA certification. For some of them, the short-term goal is the CNA certification, but their long-term goal is many other things. These courses help prepare them for any career in the healthcare field. You wouldn't think that advanced manufacturing and healthcare goes together, but there's actually many ways that it does, because healthcare and advanced technology and advanced equipment go hand in hand. So we learn a lot of things about robotics, for instance, and how robotics has impacted surgical procedures. If they have a challenging surgery, they can print 3D models of internal organs and practice that surgery before they do it. We have taken field trips where they actually got to see a stroke robot, which is a robot that they can send into the patient, and a doctor from Baptist can actually evaluate a patient here locally to see, do they think they're having a stroke. We have visited the Regenerative Medicine Center at Baptist and got to see those models they've produced with those 3D printers, and that's amazing. They learn about minimal invasive surgeries, which are surgeries where they can use little tiny incisions, and that's made possible through robotic instruments. And there are prosthetics such as robotic exoskeleton, where students have learned that people that are paralyzed can now walk again. And I think that's amazing to see. And so there's many, many ways that advanced manufacturing and health science go hand in hand.